In this video, let's compare these two countries having military superpowers in the world. The United States and China. Now, let's start at the government type. The US has operated under Federal Presidential Republic, while in China, it is one-party socialist republic, led by President Joe Biden in the United States, while President Xi Jinping in China. About major religion. Majority of Americans are Christian, while majority of Chinese people are irreligious. Official languages. The US uses English, while in China, it is standard Chinese. The capital city of the United States is Washington, D.C., while Beijing in China. The US has 9.8 million square kilometers, and China has slightly smaller with 9.6 million square kilometers. Population-wise, it is 340 million people in the US, while China dwarfs that with staggering 1.42 billion people. Economy size, the United States has GDP of 28.781 trillion US dollar. It ranks second in the world. In China, the GDP is 35.3 trillion US dollar. It is the largest in the world. GDP per capita, 85,373 US dollar in the US, ranks 8th in the world. In China, only 25,015 US dollar. It ranks 73rd globally. The United States has a huge external debt of around 20.27 trillion US dollar. But in China, they only have 2.03 trillion US dollar. About the labor force, the US has 164.8 million available workers. It ranks third in the world, while in China, they have a huge number of around 791 million active workers. It is the largest in the world. Now, let's jump into the military strength. The United States Armed Force ranks first in the world, while the Chinese People's Liberation Army ranks third globally. The US has a defense budget of around 831 billion US dollar, while in China, the annual defense budget is 227 billion US dollar. Total active personnel, the United States has 1.3 million, while in China, they have 3.1 million. Reserve personnel, 799,500 in the United States and 510,000 in China. Air Force personnel, the US has 701,300, while China has 400,000 personnel. Army personnel, 1.4 million in the US, while 2.5 million in China. Navy personnel, United States has 667,108, while 380,000 in China. Now, let's dive into Air Force strength. The US has a total aircraft of 13,209 assets, while in China, they only have 3,304 assets. Fighter jets, 1,854 in the United States and 1,207 in China. Attack types aircraft, the US has 896, while China has 371. Transport aircraft, 957 for the US, while 289 for China. Helicopters, United States has, and in China, they have only 913. About attack helicopters, 1,000 in US, while 281 in China. Aircraft tanker fleet, the US has 606, while in China, they only have 10. Now, let's jump into the land forces. United States has 4,657 battle tanks, while in China, they have 5,000. Military vehicles, around 360,000 in the US, while 174,300 in China. Self-propelled artillery, United States has 1,595 and 3,850 in China. Towed artillery, 1,267 for the US, while in China, they have 1,434. MLRS rocket artillery 694 in United States and China has 3,180. Next up, about the Navy forces. United States have 11 aircraft carriers while China having only 2. Destroyers 75 in the US and 49 in China. United States has no frigates while in China they have 49. Corvettes 23 in the US and 72 in China. Submarines, United States has 64 while in China they have 61. Patrol vessels, only 5 in the US while China has 150. Mine warfare, the US has 8 and 36 in China. Nuclear warheads, 5,044 stockpile in the United States while China only having 500. And now, the last part of this comparison about the natural resources. In USA, they have 50 billion barrels of proven oil reserve, while in China, they have 26 billion barrels. United States produces 18 million barrels of oil per day, while in China, only produce 4.7 million barrels. Oil consumption in the US is about 20 million barrels per day, while in China, it is about 14 million barrels. Proven natural gas reserve, 13 trillion cubic meters in the US. In China, they have 6.6 trillion cubic meters. Natural gas production, 967 billion cubic meters in the US. In China, about 179 billion cubic meters. Proven coal reserve, United States have 228 billion metric tons, while in China, they have 141.5 metric tons. Coal production, the US produces around 495 million metric tons. In China, they have produces a massive 4.3 billion metric tons. That wraps up our comparison of the United States and China. Thanks for joining me in this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more exciting content. See you in my next video.